Hello everyone, welcome to my channel and thank you for taking the time to watch this video. So this is a new video series that I will be doing on crystals, gemstones, seeds, all the paraphernalia that you use when you want to channel spirit or when you want to raise your vibration. And I'm doing this particular video series because a lot of people have asked me about purposes of gemstones, why I wear so many bracelets or rings, and what is the purpose of all of this. And for me personally, this has been really a voyage of discovery. I have found that the single most powerful item that you can actually use to change your vibration or to change the way things go, the course of events, is to use a gemstone. Now, gemstones have been used for centuries, possibly since the beginning of time, when human beings became conscious of the fact that something was very beautiful and very shiny. And they may have picked it up from, the riverbeds, having these gemstones washing down the rivers, and picked it up, when they were possibly washing clothes, and they had taken quite a fancy to them. So the gemstones themselves really originate within the Earth's crust, and it's about 2 to 23 miles worth of Earth crust that they can be found in. And they're really hard crystalline structures, very formed, and they are developed, or they come from the softer powdery forms. They come in the form of rocks, so they have grown. They don't just simply appear, they do grow, and they do take years to grow, and they grow under the pressure and heat that has been exerted on the Earth's crust. And we are very privileged to have so many different kinds of gemstones available to us. Now, what makes gemstones very, very important and very, very unusual is that they contain a lot of energy, and these energies affect us, and you can use these energies to change your vibration, because at the end of the day we all are vibrational spiritual creatures, and we want the best for ourselves. We want luck to come in, and the best way of doing it is by using these crystals. They've been used since time began, really, for healing, for bringing in wealth, for protection, and initially when people would use gemstones, they'd put them in their temples because they realized that they attracted positive vibrations. They also act as antenna to bring in that spiritual vibration. So they are very, very important, and it is really important, in my opinion, that everybody should have gemstones in their lives. It's not only the color and that they make you feel good, but they do change the course of events in your life, or they can change things in your life. So it is important for you to have gemstones that are appropriate. So in this series, we're going to be talking about all the different kinds of gemstones. I'll be telling you about the way we classify gemstones, how we use it in spiritual practice, how you can get some in your life, and which are the best gemstones to use. When I initially started with gemstones, I knew nothing about gemstones, and I'd just follow what they'd say was the birthstone according to my astrology, and that was it. I knew emeralds belonged to the sign of Taurus, and that is what I used. I wasn't necessarily attracted to the gemstone, but it was they said, the powers that be said that these were the most appropriate gemstones, and that is how I used them. Having gone through a lot of reading and doing a lot of research on gemstones, I realized that this is not the truth. A gemstone needs to be appropriately selected, and you need to use a gemstone with purpose. So you need to know why you're going to use this gemstone and what it can actually do for you and how it will function. Amazingly, gemstones find you rather than you finding a gemstone. So you'll find yourself being very attracted to something, or something would come, a gemstone will come to you when you least expect it, and that might be the most appropriate gemstone that you need at that particular time. I have found that once a gemstone has finished its business with you, it tends to leave. So if you're wearing a bracelet or a necklace or a pendant, it tends to fall off. And then you know that this particular gemstone has done its work, it can't do any more for you, and it's time to let it go. So it's almost like a living energy that is contained within the crystal itself, and it affects your life. Some gemstones vibrate with very, very high frequencies. Some gemstones vibrate with very low frequencies, and some of them vibrate with protective frequencies as well. So the choice of the gemstone is very, very important. There are thousands of gemstones available right now on the market, and you can get the most expensive and most rare, or you can get the really cheaper ones and get the same effects from it. I found the size of the gemstone is of no consequence. As long as you have the gemstone with you, or it's touching your skin, it exerts about the same influence. A pebble will exert the same influence as a gemstone the size of a rock. So it all depends on what you would like and how you want to use that particular gemstone when selecting size. And it is important for you to make sure that you are cleaning those crystals. You need to energize them. So there's a lot of things that are that you need to do when handling gemstones. It's not simply there for decoration, though in later centuries people seem to have lost contact with the spiritual side or the vibrational side of the gemstone, and now tend to use it more for putting it in jewelry and more for decorative purposes, body decorations, rather than the actual use or the actual power behind the gemstone. It seems like that philosophy is changing quite rapidly in the recent past. People are now realizing how important it is to use a gemstone for what it can do for you, as opposed to how it can make you look beautiful. So I've got a selection today. It's just an introductory video, and I'm just going to be showing you different ways in which you can actually introduce gemstones into your life. All the things that I have available, that are available on the market, and the costs vary. And I am not a person with a lot of money, so I try to buy something that is as cheap as possible and get the biggest piece of gemstone that I can to produce that particular effect. So I'm just going to show you some of the things that I have been using, and you can think about getting some yourself. So the first one I wanted to show you is the really small obsidian crystals. I use them quite a bit, and they're very, very strong crystals. They've got really good grounding energy there with them, and you can get them, a really nice big bag of them for next to nothing. So they're quite dirt cheap there, and you get them and use them. And even if you keep a small little obsidian crystal, I have used them a lot in my energy healing remedies, because they enhance the remedies quite a bit. So these are really small crystals, and you can just add them. If you're making up a medicine pouch or something, you can keep a little crystal with you. You can even put it in your purse. So these are really, really nice tiny little crystals that you can use, and you can get quite a bit of crystals for very little as far as price goes. Now the other thing is that they can come in the forms of pyramids. So this is one of the this is a cat's eye pyramid, chrysoberyl cat's eye pyramid, and this is what I use. It does tend to focus the energy because it's in that pyramid shape. I've got a raw gemstone over here. So this is a black tourmaline raw gemstone. So you can get them as raw crystals where they haven't been heat treated or they haven't been manipulated in any sort of way. I find that with the raw crystals, the energy is very, very much stronger. And so I advise, really, instead of going for bracelets and things like that, if you can't really afford those expensive things, because once they make it into a bracelet, the price of that bracelet really, or the price of the stone really, goes up. Getting the raw crystal is pretty good, and what I do is when I get raw crystals, I get myself some wire, and I make a little wire wrap around it, and I hang it as a pendant. So it's a pretty wire wrapped crystal. It's got all the power there. It's a raw crystal, and I can get that energy focused, and I can get the maximum benefits from that particular crystal. I've made this pyramid also into a little pendant, you can see there, and I've wire wrapped that as well. So on my off days when I'm not really doing any readings, I am really into jewelry. It is my passion, and I do love what it does. It does change your vibration, it lifts your spirits, it gives you the energy, and I think it's better than any drug that's available on the market, really. So if you're feeling depressed or you're feeling out of control, crystals are the way to go. The other ones are these crystal balls, and you can get those as well. They're sort of intermediately priced depending on the crystal, and you can get quite a nice big piece that you can hold in your hand. You can use these for meditation. They're pretty good at getting energies to you. They also come in the form of crystal eggs. So this is a nice little stone that has been smoothed down, and it's in the form of a crystal egg. I have another crystal ball over here, and I use this really to absorb energy. So you don't always have to have the crystal on your body, or you don't have to be holding the crystal, but as long as you have the crystal around you, it will tend to absorb energies. Another nice little way of getting a crystal is getting a crystal angel. So this is a citrine angel, and citrine is really good for luck, and you can keep this in your pocket. It's a pocket angel, a very, very nice way of getting a hold of crystals or keeping them with you. So you don't have to particularly be somebody who wears jewelry, but you can carry a crystal angel with you. Now, I was very lucky to get, this is the peridot. This is a very raw form. You can see the volcanic rock here. Peridot is formed when volcanic eruptions happen, and you can actually see the peridot raw crystal within that particular rock. And this is quite a nice big piece of it. It's very rare to actually get a hold of peridot in that crystal form over there. So this is one of my prized pieces. You can get them also, a crystal in the form of a crystal mirror. So this is an obsidian mirror, and it is there to absorb any kind of negative energies as well. These days, people are taking obsidian balls or crystal balls, and they're writing healing words on the balls so that you can actually absorb the energy and heal. So the black crystals tend to absorb negative energy and are used a lot for healing and grounding. Now, if you don't want to get such big crystal balls, I have a little crystal ball over here. I don't know if you can see it. It's a little citrine crystal ball over here, and I've put it in a cage. These cages you can get off Amazon, eBay. They're really dirt cheap for quite a lot of cage. You can even take your crystal. You can see in here I've got a nice little crystal there in a little cage, and put it and carry it with you, and hang it on a little pendant and make your own jewelry. This is very, very cost effective, and very, very effective anyhow. So those are some of the ways that you can actually get crystals into your life. The other way is that you can use it for decoration purposes. So here I have a nice little crystal tree. It's got all the different crystals on it, so it's going to have all those energies that you need. I will talk about the different types of crystals and how you classify them, but this has got a really nice selection of crystals on it, and it's very pretty to look at, and it absorbs a lot of energies as well. You can see there's a lot of amethyst there, there's some turquoise going on over there, and some clear crystal. So it's not very expensive. These crystals that are on these trees are not expensive crystals, but they pack quite a punch there. Now, this is a little bracelet tree that I have, and I have a whole bunch of crystals on them, so you can get these beads in different sizes and different shapes. You can get them as just about barely worked with crystals. So there's quite a selection that you can get as far as bracelets go, and I have one here in sterling silver. It's got all the different chakra colors on it, and you've got some protective stones over here with that tiger eye as well, so you can get them in that form. You can get them in malachite, which is a nice little healing stone as well. And you've got that black obsidian over there, which is also there for absorbing energies. I've also got this nice little citrine bracelet here. So this is one of the ones that you can wear if you don't want to carry the pocket angels. You get these lovely little designs that come in with the bracelets that are coming in. And these are the raw bracelets. These crystal bracelets tend to be much cheaper than anything that has been worked on, and they do tend to be a lot more powerful, I have found, when you're dealing with crystals, to get the raw form. Now, another way of that is another form of crystal available are these crystal points, and these are also quite cheap. You've got the basic crystal points over there, and if you take the one that is needed, you can hang that as a pendant and use it, and this tends to, because it's got that point, tends to concentrate and focus the energy there. So it all depends on what you want to really be doing with your crystal. There's also pendulums that you can get. So I've got some crystal pendulums over here. This is a nice pendulum here, selenite, and this is just a clear rock quartz pendulum as well. So different shapes, different sizes, different ways of setting these pendants as well. I've also got this. This was a raw. This is black tourmaline with some green tourmaline around it. A very unusual crystal. A nice piece as well, and I've got some raw tourmaline crystals there as well, so this is really good for protection and grounding. And I've made my own chain up, my own necklace up with it, and it serves its purpose. I mean, you can keep them under your clothes, nobody has to see them, but as long as you know you have them and they're doing a job, that is the most important thing. Besides the crystals, there's also the shells. You've got a lot of shell jewelry, and I will be discussing a lot about the seed jewelry that is available as well. So these are various kinds of seeds that have a very prominent place in Hinduism, where these seeds, or Buddhism, these seeds are very, very important, and these seeds also have a lot of vibration, very high vibrational frequencies. They're gentler energies than the crystals, because the crystals tends to be very precise, very concentrated, very focused energy, and the seeds, although they have quite a bit of energy, they are a bit more gentle in the way they deal with circumstances. So the seeds themselves are pretty important. I have a lovely little Ganesha rock crystal here, a little elephant, and this was very, very unusual. So you can get your crystals in any kind of form. It just depends on how open your mind is, or what you are attracted to, and that makes all the difference. So I have a nice little bracelet here with all the different chakra colors, and these should cover practically all problems that you may have as far as getting your chakras activated or aligned over there. You've got crystal bracelets like that. I will be discussing also the Rudraksha seeds here, and these are very, very important seeds, and play a very, very important role in energies and getting your intuitive juices going as well. So there's quite a few things that you can do, or quite a few things that you can purchase, and they can be quite cheap. This is a lovely little necklace, and this is petrified rock. A petrified tree rather, and it's become a rock. So the tree grew, and then it possibly got covered in soil, and then ended up becoming a rock. So rock crystals growing within that old tree carcass, if you like, and producing this lovely petrified rock. And this is a really nice, good grounding stone as well. Now, if you can get these crystals and use them as necklaces. So this is a nice little combination of the different kinds of, there's a combination of citrine here and ruby going on. So you can get combinations of stones, necklaces with combinations of stones, or bracelets with combinations of stones. And another really good way of getting a hold of a lot of stone for a really good price is getting yourself a nice mala. So these come as about 108 beads, and they're good for meditation, good for stress relief. You can keep them around you. They're great. I use them for meditation a lot. So malas are very, very important. You get different malas for grounding. They have combinations of either seed malas or gemstone and seed malas, but these are very, very high energy necklaces, and very, a lot of spiritual people use them, but they're also very, very good for stress relief. So if you don't really want to buy a very expensive necklace, a mala is a really nice way of getting your gemstones on your body, or getting a gemstone with you to alleviate tension, to heal yourself and to change the stress in your life, and to raise your vibration. I use a lot of rings. I've got a nice little tourmaline here with some peridot there, so a combination ring there going on. And here's another one with all the different combinations of stones. I use a lot of crystals for channeling, and that is the most important way in which I channel, and it's also very protective for me. I deal with a lot of different energies, and because I'm an empath, I find that I get very exhausted, tired, upset really after doing extensive reads, and especially if I'm dealing with difficult readings. I find that when I use gemstones, it tends to block those energies. It's almost as though it covers you in a protective barrier, so other people's negative energies do not affect you. And you can use gemstones to change the course of events. There are certain gemstones that you will be using that will alter the way things go. It will change the energies. Sapphire is a very important gemstone. I have a bracelet there on. Only certain people can really wear sapphire because it doesn't resonate with everybody, and if you are using the wrong gemstone at the wrong time, you can end up causing quite a catastrophe. I always think about Princess Diana's wedding ring that was set in sapphire, or her engagement ring in sapphire, that became ever so famous, that put sapphires back on the map. But it obviously was not the gemstone for her, because that marriage ended up falling apart. So it is very, very important for you to select your gemstone. And if it doesn't work for you, it is time for you to get rid of it. So when you're wearing gemstones, before you even start thinking about putting it on your body, it's good for you to sort of sleep with it under your pillow and see how you dream that night, and then decide whether or not this is the gemstone for you. So this is just a little brief overview about what is to come. In the series, I will look at the classifications, as I've said, the different hardness of the stones. We look at very technical issues as well to deal with gemstones, and although this is not a jewelry set of videos, this is really about the spiritual side of gemstones and how you can use it in your life. I will discuss some of the technical aspects of owning a gemstone and how to really buy gemstones. There's loads of gemstones to go through, so this is probably going to be a pretty long series, and I do hope that you end up enjoying it. Keep an open mind. This is something that has been going passed down the generations. You have experts in people who work these gemstones and cut the gemstones. A lot of effort goes into making a gemstone, so it's not something simple. A lot of hard work and effort, and a lot of heart goes into making up jewelry as well. So with that, you must know that a lot of positive energy is coming in with that stone, and a lot of positive energy is coming in with that piece of jewelry. There is a lot of respect that you do need to show for it, and handle it with care. And the main thing is for you to enjoy wearing your gemstones and to get the maximum benefit. And I hope that this series is going to be something that shows you how to do that. So I hope that you will enjoy the future videos to come. And thank you so much for watching this. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and leave me some comments. And tell me what you think about me doing this particular series, if this is something that does appeal to you. I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching. Take care now. Goodbye.